Hello. Hello everybody. Now I haven't told you that I'm doing this, but I have a very special person that I want to introduce to you tonight, and he's a senior elder from local Carpentaria, North Queensland. Now you can see his name, Gavin Toby. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, Gavin, please?
Yes, I'm from Normanton, up in the Gulf of Carpentaria, Queensland, and I was born and reared here, and grew up on the old camp or the old reserve, and um, yeah, did my schooling here, um, as well as my mother and father, my grandfathers, grandmothers. Um, yeah, I'm a local here, and I've been around for a while, and I still open to be around longer. So
And you are
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Go on.
um, yeah, and uh, I'm happy to be on this interview with Josephine. Okay.
It's an honour to be interviewed by you. Now, you are the carer for your wife, is that correct?
Yeah, I am. Yes,
Excellent.
I am.
That's great.
And yeah, we've been married for some time, and I can't do much now. I mean, because I'm a carer, and but yeah, I have to look after it as well as my little grandson. But yeah,
How long have you
retired.
been married? I didn't ask you that before. How long have you been married?
Oh, we've been married since 1985, six there or about. So I don't know, that's like 20 plus years.
Wow, congratulations. And you told me that your mother was a like quite a strong Christian lady, and it was in the 80s that you became, strong in your faith as well. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my mother grew up in what uh, in the mission back in the missionary days. She grew up in Sunday school, and um, she's been there for um, the rest of her life until she's left us. I mean, there was nine of us that she left behind, nine children, and now there's three of those, three of the members of my family have also gone. So I'm left with mm, five sisters now.
Five,
But yeah,
five sisters
yeah,
alive?
yeah, yeah, five sisters, and two of my brothers are gone, and elder brother, along with mum and dad, they're going to be with the Lord as well.
So now, being the oldest son, you've got a responsibility as a clan leader, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And tell us about where you live. I have never been that far north. What's it like there?
Well, I live at Normanton here, and it's a major town in the Gulf of Carpentaria. That's 2 hours drive um, east of Burketown, or Burketown 2 hours west of where I am. Crumba's, uh, you heard of Crumba? It's
Only
East
because
Town.
I've been up north, Northern Territory, but not Queensland. I mean, I've been,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've
and
been, yeah. Well, I'm in the Gulf here, so yeah, Normanton Corumba, Burketown, and Croydon are pretty well close together, but Normanton is a major town, and yeah, but back in those days when I left school, the only thing we had here for work was the cattle industry and the fishing industry. See, so yeah, the prawning and barramundi fishing, stock work. That's all we had here back in the days when I left school, and but now the local government, they employ locals. Still a lot of cattle station around that employ young people. We have, but when as well as when the mining company come here in the 90s and business started popping up, which the town grew, population rose. So yeah, Normanton is where I am and where I'm from.
Wow.
Yeah.
So catch the barramundi because I don't, I like fishing. I like prawning too. I love prawning, but I'm sure it's a lot different down south than where you
Yeah,
are because the
yeah,
prawns are big, right? Are they the deep sea prawns?
yeah. The prawn that get in the Gulf is tiger prawn and banana prawn and yeah, there's another one, but yeah, we also get freshwater yabby, cherub. Yeah.
Do you put yabby traps in, or how do you catch the yabby normally?
Yeah, well, a lot of locals use yabby traps and things. You know, uh, I I I do that, but I also use the traditional way as well.
Do you mind
So
talking about it? Because I'm really interested.
yeah. So when I go bush on the weekend or during school holiday, I take the grandson out and teach him a lot of the things that as my part of my culture still. Yeah.
Bush survival, and from what I know, I don't know whether it's the same. It takes a lot of patience to catch food in the old-fashioned way. A lot of patience and a lot of watching. Is that correct?
Yeah. Um, but because I grew up here and have local knowledge of um, my country around me, I know where to go and I know what to do.
Well,
So,
I'm going with you. And what about the barramundi? Do they put a big fight in when you're trying to reel them, or you go hand spear?
I use hand spear. Yeah, I spear mainly fish. Barramundi. This is and it's barrows on the move now, so it's plenty of barrow. That yeah. Many people they use live bait or you know
Goodness me,
lures.
a lot of skill to hand spear fish. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
It takes a lot of skill to hand
Yeah,
spear those fish.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it takes a lot of skill, um, but yeah, being um, Aboriginal, I mean, I it's it's within,
yeah, it's
the,
ingrained to watch the water. I mean, down the coast where I New South Wales, people they watch the water and they watch where the fish go, and they
yep,
and they pass it down. And children because we don't have the crocs that you have. The children, a lot of the boys are raised to be divers
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
horse
yeah,
and the
yep,
ladies.
yeah. You know, there's plenty of saltwater crocodile up here. You know, and I like going back again on what I'm saying. Pretty well have local knowledge of the area, so I go to where it's safe to get in the water and swim, and as well as use fresh water to um, cook with or whatever, to drink.
You're blessed. You have the salt and the fresh. It sounds like.
Yes, yes, there is salt and fish.
That's
I
fantastic.
live on the Norman River is on the town of Normanton is on the Norman River, but as it runs further inland or further south from here, it gets fresher and fresher because the tide doesn't reach. Uh, when the tide come in, it doesn't
Yeah.
go away. Yeah. So, and
Wow.
as well as a lot of outside water out off the main waterway, the main river system.
Yeah.
The outside water out is fresh anyway. So, I know where to go. Yeah, if I was to, yeah. But yeah, we also, like I was saying before, we I don't know if you've seen it, but Chris, um, Chris was the largest crocodile that was ever um, captured out of the river here. So you might have seen that on
Chris is his name.
Chris the crocodile, yes, saltwater crocodile. Yeah,
Saltwater crocodile.
yep, 6.8 meter.
Point. I have. That is just astronomical. Chris,
Six
I'm
point.
trying to look it up. North Queensland.
Yeah,
Chris. Let me see if I can find a.
Chris the crocodile in
Chris.
Normanton.
It's spelled K with a K. Correct.
K Krys.
Okay, what I'm going to
K.
do, I'm just going to see if we can share this so we can show people. I'm going to share my screen so people can see Chris the crocodile. Oh, I'm not sure whether it's going to, we'll see if we can find it, the tab. There we go. So can you see that there?
Yeah.
Can you see
Now,
that?
yeah,
That's
that's him.
Chris. Is that
That's
how big
him.
it was? My goodness. That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary. Oh, my battery is I'm just plugging in my computer, excuse me. Well, there's Chris. Incredible.
That's it.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm just going to stop the screen and we're
Yeah.
going to change it back to that. Okay. What was it like growing up in the Gulf?
Um, Life was good growing up here. I've always loved it here, and yes, most of my time grown up on the old reserve, like I said, um, and with other families and relatives. I mean, but on the old reserve, it was a place where families, as well as from other tribes, because this is other tribes had to, when they come into town,
Yeah.
was they had to come into, because Norman was built on this land. So like I said, it's a major town. The old reserve was set up there for us to go there. As well as a lot of old people come to Normanton, that would be brought in by the, you know, um, the white man or the, um, a lot of them was used as labourers as well for stock work, but yeah, most of us, a lot of us grew up on, kids my age, grew up on the old settlement. But it was good there, and we had no problem. Communication was good, sharing, um, everything was, it should be now.
Okay, so it's gone backwards.
I mean, everything then was good.
Yes,
It's not like, um,
it's bad now.
like now. It's different, totally different to
So
back in those days.
yeah, and we'll get into that more. We're building up to it. So we're just trying to give the picture so Australian people can follow, and it's incredible. Thank you for sharing. Now, how do you define being an Australian person?
Sorry, what was that question again?
How do you define being an Australian person?
Um, is that an Australian, um, an inviting person who like to share, and a person that would remind others, to be a part of the land, and remind them that they have the right to be here as well, and belong to this land.
That's all
So
Australians, like whether they've got Aboriginal heritage or not. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
So being Australian is a connection to the land. Do you think part of being an
yeah.
Australian?
Sorry.
Part of being an Australian is a connection to the land, if I'm hearing you right.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, could you please kindly tell me about, or the audience about your atypical ancestors' bloodline in the area?
yeah. Well, you see, I come from a line of full-blood Aboriginal, um, and as you can see, mm, my apical ancestors, um, are from here, and like I said, they're all full-blood. I'm a descendant of my apical ancestors, and I am the last of the full-blood out of my clan group, if that answers.
And what I was going to ask next, in Aboriginal culture, the most important part of it is relationship to people, also known as Aboriginal law, LORE, which
Yeah.
the connection to the landscape, to the
Yes.
seasons,
Yes.
to the weather,
Yes.
the plants, and to the animals. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That is correct.
Why?
So,
Sorry, go you go.
so, um, so yeah, all that, eh, um, all that is correct, and that's a big part what I um, keep and make sure that I even try to, I even teach that to younger um, generations up, you know, that that there is very important
That's
to
like
us.
the matrix of life, that
Yes.
round circle.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Sorry.
Am I saying that correctly? It's like a matrix, and a lot of that's
Yes.
reflected.
Yes. Yeah. You're saying that correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to say is, it doesn't. so people who are falsely claiming to be of Aboriginal descent, is this why people who are falsely claiming to be of Aboriginal descent from your area is really damaging to Aboriginal culture, as it breaks the chain that is gone from your responsibility too as a senior clan leader? It breaks the chain and the foundations of Aboriginal culture and perspective.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because you, yeah, sorry.
It yeah, like genocide, saying, broken the chain and genocide. Yeah, definitely foundation of our way of life, uh, culture. So, yes.
Because you contact, okay. So we've gone out, and it's part of the responsibility. You're the oldest son, oldest living son,
Yeah.
and you, as part of the responsibility as a clan leader, meaning the leader of your family, is it part of your responsibility to ensure that this perspective around the environment, the matrix, the Aboriginal law, LORE, is
Yeah,
continued?
yeah, yeah. It's my responsibility, and I make sure that it is, and I keep it that way. But yeah, that's true. That's true.
How concerned are you? Because you've contacted me a few times. How concerned are you that people in your area are falsely claiming to be Aboriginal people descended from your area?
Sorry, I was just not concentrating, but
You're very concerned because you've
yeah.
told me about people falsely claiming to be Aboriginal or being descended from your area. How
Yeah.
concerned does that make you?
Well, I've raised concern about that, and I'm very concerned because it it it's offended us, me, my families, that these people they are pretending to be um, to claim, who they're saying they want to be, but um, and they, they can say that all they like. I mean, but because with my concerns, our concerns, we're powerless against them. That we can't, they won't um, let us stand up and say our rights, because they want to override us if, because we want to raise our concerns and issues and, and matters, which is true facts.
So,
But we
yeah.
don't. Yeah. But we're never acknowledged to get up and do that. So they they want to be that voice, that fake, the fake. So they want to represent us, but in any way they think that's right, but it's not. See?
So you've been raising these concerns. Have you been bullied as a result of raising the concerns?
Yeah, I will say bullied. I've been bullied for standing up for my rights and expressing, standing up and speaking for my rights, expressing it, and but never got the chance to voice my opinion or these people bullying just want to be there as stand over as representing. And when you look at it, the fact is that they're there for themselves, and they want to benefit from they want to benefit from it. They don't want myself or my family to benefit from it. So we've been bullied. That's the word.
Can you give an example of what sort of the bullying behaviour is?
Well, you see these people that govern and manage in the organisation corporation. They because they manage and govern the corporation. They're the ones that make the decisions and there's signed documents and it's all um, uh, they do those sort of thing on our behalf without our authority and us as Aboriginal ancestor native title descendants, Aboriginal ancestor descendants and native title holders, they do that on our behalf, without our authority. So we can't, it goes back again to we can't be voiced, to voice our message to get across to they just won't accept us.
Is there a fake Aboriginal person in the Gulf who seems to get all the say with the government?
Yeah. Sorry?
Is there a fake Aboriginal person in the Gulf of Carpentaria in your area who seems to have all the say with the government?
Yeah, there is. There is a number of them, but particularly my concerns are right across the Gulf. But because I'm here and there is a fake, and at the moment I'm raising my concerns about local issues, about these fake people. Yeah, but there is, there is fake.
Thank you. Up to 80% of Australia's landmass is going to be under non-transferable native title by 2030. Remember when Paul Keating brought in native title in the 1990s? Were you or your family consulted about native title at this time?
No, we weren't. Myself, my family, no, weren't consulted.
Thank you. What has native title done to your family relationships? Has it been good or bad?
No, it's been bad. It's been bad. I will say it's been bad because ever since native title has come into the scene here, it was the same thing. We were left out. I was left out. Families was left out. We didn't get the chance to represent our African ancestors, if you like. I mean, these fakes are taken over. So, I would say that it's, not like it should have been. It's bad.
How did families relate to each other before the Native Title Act was brought in?
Many of people got along real well, fine, and we related to each other in a way that it should have been, but ever since native title come in, and there's been a big split, and there's been division and separation. I would have to say now a lot of people that used to communicate together has just gone the other way.
Yes, that's sad. Are you allowed to own your own land with native title?
No. No.
Do you know why Aboriginal people are under a different land regime from every other Australian?
That's um, that's because people that govern and manage the uh, organisations are the ones that in control again. No, we still they're the one. Yeah, the one that govern and manage the corporation.
Thank you.
We don't have any say at all.
That's terrible. So, have you or your family been consulted about the Uluru Statement or the Uluru Voice?
No, we haven't. I haven't. My family.
Now, I'm going to name. Thank you. Sorry. Now, I'm going to name just a number of people and ask you whether these people speak for you or your family. So you can just, up to you. I'm just going to put a few names to you. Is that all right?
Okay.
So do any of these people speak for you or your community? Noel Pearson.
No, well, none of them do. No.
Pat Dodson.
No.
Linda Burney.
No.
Ken Wyatt.
No.
Lydia Thorpe.
No.
Marcia Langton.
No.
Megan Davis.
No.
Mark Liebler.
No.
Pat Turner.
No.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Pat Anderson.
I'm on an interview. Sorry?
Pat Anderson.
No.
Thomas Mayer.
No.
Okay. So it's presented in the mainstream media on many occasions that Aboriginal people get extra money from the government. Do you get extra money?
No.
Do you get a say where the mining royalties are spent?
Say again?
Do you get a say where the mining royalties are spent?
No.
Do you feel controlled by organisations?
Yeah.
Do you know why Aboriginal people are under a different corporate governance structure, Corporations Act, than every other Australian?
Yeah, I think that question is because as a corporation set up, well, and it's governed in their own way, governed and managed in their own way, in its own way. And again, they run the organisation how they want. That's
Okay, well, that follows on from my next question. Were you or your family consulted about the native title Aboriginal corporation structure?
No.
Can you give an example of what happened to you recently in your Aboriginal corporation when you asked some questions about the mining royalties?
Um, when I ask questions on where the money's being, I'm talking about the compensation, the royalty that comes into the corporation, and we don't get a share out of it, or if we put requests in and we don't receive anything. We don't receive anything by technology either. Like when I said talking about technology, well, I mean, at least I could get an email sent to my phone, but no response. Yeah, but when I ask questions, um, uh, even in meetings that I attended years ago, I was watched pretty closely and carefully by people that manage and people of the corporation that manage the corporation. But most times I won't get an invite or allowed or accept to. They want to have a say. If it's a public meeting only, that's my chance where I can get up and voice my opinion or raise whatever concern or issue there is to be uh, set at a meeting. So yeah, that's basically where that comes down to.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Why don't you get any say?
Well, again, they look at it opposite because I'm traditional owner, the true traditional owner. This is I am with happy clans as the background, and it's done the opposite way. They want people that runs and manage his organisation wants to represent us, and with it again goes back to um, as well as they say that I'm detrimental, and they won't let me uh, most times won't even notify us of a meeting and that we should be attending if we get a visit. If, by it could be a politician coming to town or they want to meet on our behalf and have to say and make decisions on override us. Again, they're very toey and touchy of me. If I ask a question, well, that too much question, well, God has given me a tongue to speak, and but they won't allow me to be in the presence most times.
It's no good. I'm sorry about that. Do you have a voice in the media?
No, but I would love to have someone, a voice, to be there for me and my family, and I'm hoping that I do have a voice pretty soon. That yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm running for parliament. What do you think about that?
I'm I'm happy about that now that you said that. That these things that I'm giving you, um, they I don't know how you operate in Parliament, but that's the place I believe where these issues can be raised. If you're running for Parliament, I'll be praying for you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, and I see that as an opportunity as well, me giving you. So I reckon you be my voice, the voice for us.
Well, I want to be able to amplify your voice because you can speak for yourself. You don't need people controlling you. That's what I want to clear because there's
Oh,
too much corruption going on. I don't.
okay.
You're a man, a very wise man, a very polite man who is capable of looking after your own life. But all what I want to do is help unravel the corruption so Aboriginal people can speak for themselves.
Yeah, thank you. Really
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Pardon?
Really appreciate that, and I'm looking forward, and I'll be praying that you get in there.
Well, in the North Queensland, I haven't raised this with you before, but some of these communities have about an 80% vote for the Labor Party, who is really behind what's happened in native title. And what we've got to try to get a message out to Aboriginal people, particularly in the North, because we can change the whole election because there's marginal seats, not to
Probably.
vote for Labor, definitely not for the Greens. And, I would be very worried about the current government too. And that's what the message I think we've got to try to get out there.
Well, I think so too. The message,
Good.
yeah, and I will, because I've been looking for an answer. Here where I resided for most of my life, and I'll always be here. I don't think I don't believe that the Labor government did anything for us. But I mean, you can look at our roads, our housing, and things still haven't changed, as well as the issue that and concerns um, now, and I look, we've been looking for this answer, and I think um, the answer has come. Yeah.
Well, it's really time because I believe that the Australian people sincerely do care about, Australians with Aboriginal heritage, but they have not known about a lot of this abuse. It is abuse, has been hidden.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, I had to put the tentacles out, and I until I come across and seen, your information. um, but now there's, like I'm saying, I I think I found the answer with you guys.
well, thank you for having faith in me. And I don't promise anything I can't deliver, but I won't let you down because this is really it's serious situation that we're in at the moment, not just for Aboriginal people, as I've told you, but for the security of our whole country. And so I'm really firmly committed to you, but also to all Australians, because I think generally we're very good people and we don't deserve to be mistreated like this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, a lot has happened. Ever since native title come into play action, so it, it's bad. but I'm happy that found you know, the answer that might solve some of the issues you guys, you yourself. But like you said, you can't promise us, and I understand that too. But I'm looking forward to you getting in there.
I really believe that we will win because that's why, I wrote an alternative to with an Aboriginal committee. And it would be, I've got one person from North Queensland. I would have got you too if I knew then. But, or as an alternative so that we're not changing our constitution, because what is great about being Australian is that we're all treated equally. That hasn't done, but what they want to do is permanently change Australia so that these fake Aborigines have more power than everybody. And we know how nasty they are, and that's a real security risk when 80%
Yeah,
of the country will be under UN native title. Now, what I do believe is that my feel in my heart, and I know you do too, that
yeah,
everything is possible when we're dealing with good people and when we get the message out and when
yeah,
the veil of deception is lifted. And this is what happens with criminals. We will win. We will win. We
yeah,
will win. It's
yeah,
just at the moment, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I've had to grow in faith over this period. I've grown as a
yeah,
human being because I've had to be faithful without knowing what's going to happen next. And when I've been in trials with victims, and Aboriginal people have been victims of these people who run the corporations, they're nasty, criminal type thugs, I would say. I always have a policy where I don't promise what I can't deliver, because when you've been hurt and disappointed, the last thing you need is for someone from like me saying, I will do this, because at the
mm,
moment, what I know is what that we've been winning so far. People don't realize it, but we've stopped a lot of the bad behavior that would have put our country in a huge amount of risk, would have actually put you in a very vulnerable position, and Aboriginal people who live rural and remote are being kicked off your land. What you don't, I know that we've been able to stop this sort of stuff behind the scenes. So I do know that we've had miracles so far and that faith has come a long way. But what I'm inviting Aboriginal people and Australians to do across the country is believe we can. That is when the momentum builds and this deceptive veil is lifted.
yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's just a matter of getting the message out, and I'm really thankful that the message has come to me, and I mean, I didn't know where to go, like I was saying, and because being under the thumb so much, we weren't allowed to, more or less, weren't allowed. We were under the thumb, and you know, stood over, bullied. Um, but it's good that like I'm talking to you now
Yeah.
on yes, I received an answer, you know, that could look at, acknowledge our issues and concerns. So,
Yes, and it
you know,
has to happen because this is one of the most important things that's going on. It has to happen. Has to happen in order for this country to move forward and stop these bad people who you can imagine they've been so cruel to you for decades. What they're going to do to the Australian people, and that worries me tremendously.
yeah,
So I am, thank you for having that faith in me, and what we've got to, the rightful, and because what's happening in this country, I think as well, is we've got a moral crisis, a moral crisis. And this is where I think that I wrote to you, you'll recall, I said Aboriginal clan leaders, senior elders, I mean this in the proper sense, some people, they misinterpret Aboriginal culture and use it for their own means, etc. But the thing is, Aboriginal elders like yourself, real elders, real lineage, real atypical ancestors, actually are quite important for where Australia is at right now, because the moral fabric, you would have seen it, is being deliberately destroyed, as in our family, but not just the Aboriginal structure of family, but all Australian families. And this is where I think Australia needs moral leadership of people like yourself, because the basis, the foundation of human life is around family and respect.
Well, I clearly understand what you're saying, because for me, you can relate to my issues and concern. I mean, so that's it. And, I take what are you saying? I take all that into consideration, because no mucking around. I mean, we've been mucking around for too long, and it's about time it's got to stop.
It's not fair. It's horrible. Now, I did a survey in Wilcannia. What would you say are the major things that Aboriginal people want or need in the area, in your area?
Well, in my area here, my people will want a housing, want to own their own houses, land to own and live freely on, and as well as I can get up and speak for themselves, and voice their opinion. Then there's, as well as there's a lot more to it, but yeah, these are the few things that I understand that, well, me and my people would want. Right now we just can't get it. But yeah, housing, land, to live on freely, and well as speak for ourselves. Yeah.
Basic things, basic practical things, correct?
Sorry?
Basic things, like practical things. They're not symbolic. They're not caring about a name or a day. It's day by day living, isn't it? And
That's
having
it.
a safe place to live.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So that's what I found around the country.
Yeah.
And the people in the media, I don't want to go, but the people who are so-called speaking for Aboriginal people never, ever, ever, hardly ever, or never raise the true concerns of Australians with Aboriginal heritage.
Yeah. That's it.
Yes. So you've been trying to get justice for a long time, haven't you? What steps have you been taking to try to get justice so you're heard?
Well, we've looked at we've been trying to sort these issues and concerns out about the matter overall in meetings. But we weren't heard. Our concerns and issues were thrown out. See, we weren't heard, and never was acknowledge of our rights. When we tried to many a times, in meetings after meetings, but weren't, as well as legal representation from on the outside, but financially we myself and family in the financial situation stuff. And the people, again, that manage and run the organisation don't give us, won't, won't give us
It's
out
terrible.
of, out of what we are, and you might, I got to say.
How many years have you been trying to do this for, to address it? Just within an estimate.
Want to repeat that again?
How many years have you been trying to get justice?
Um, well, when the we're talking about the native title issue here, when that even before that, um, we raised again. We tried to get issues sorted out in meeting, but legal representation as well as um, CLC, that's the Carpentaria Land Council, CLAC, Carpentaria Land Council Aboriginal Corporation. Never came, um, never been straight down the middle, you see. Went to one side, so it never worked like that for us, you know. It should have been looked at from looked at both sides, no, but it wasn't. So um, yeah, that's where things from that time on up until the um, native title determination and Dan. Did I say that in order? The Andan of the 29 September 2020 native title Andan. And even still after that, I'm pushing to try and sort it out. No representation or getting the voice out. Hopefully, someone like you can voice it on the outside for us.
Yeah, and more people who are listening, the more people who know, the better for Australia. The more people who understand the issues, the better for Australia. Now, that'd be about 40 years from my estimation, if it's because the Native Title Act was in the 90s and you said it was before that. So you've been fighting for 40 years.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Around
Well, you
that.
see, yeah. Well, with the form of the form of the corporation organization from that time onwards, then into the GCA, which is the Gulf Community Agreement. The social impact on the mining companies come to the area way back then. An anthropologist, got everyone got involved in all of this, and it, it it went the wrong way, and looking at trying, these people that did that, I know that they did wrong, they just not want to accept it, and try and have things sorted out. And won't allow us to speak out. And so we got to expose it somewhere, someone. Expose these matters. Been a long time, yeah. So, and I think it's the time now. The time to come. Yeah.
Enough's enough. I mean, it's just killing our old people. That's what I see. The stress.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of our people gone now, and we're still fighting and trying to sort this out. We can't get in, but again, it's just the time, I believe. It's the time now happening.
What do you want the Australian people to do about what is happening to you and your people?
Well, I want to let them know what my situations are and for them to stand up and support me as well, and to see and agree that, fake, these fake people that, and their actions need to be brought to justice and pay for the consequences and the circumstances.
They definitely do.
If it could go that way, So that's like, it's under us. It put stress on us. And here we are today, and still with nothing. We can't even raise our voice. So this is where things that had to action need to see action need to take place, and not like I said, it's the time. The time. We've got the right people. You guys take it for us, represent us in wherever you have to, how you, but that's as good as information that I could probably, if you were present, I mean, if you guys were here, I could not only talk to you guys, but take you to country here and there around, but I really appreciate it.
Well, I will work on someone to come. Remember, we talked about it. So that's one thing tomorrow, and we'll update people on what's going on. I just want to say I appreciate this so much meeting you, and I just want to say I'm grateful to meet you, and it shows your resilience and strength to keep on fighting, and good on you.
Thank you.
And I want to pardon.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing. Thanks. I mean, for me, you put yourself there in a position to take on. I see you as a person that can take on to a certain extent what you would have to, but I really appreciate for this for the conversation over the phone as well as we link up tonight. Really thank you, Josephine, for your time and the interview.
Yeah, and I want to come up there as soon as I can because it's one place I really want to see in Australia. So I will definitely be coming there. It's just it might not be for a few months. But I just want you to know, and for all the people of North Queensland and all the top end and all over Australia, that I totally understand what they've been going through, and it's not fair. It's not right, and it's got to stop.
Exactly.
It's not right.
I would really love to see you guys visit out this way if you can get time, as well as other guys with you. Cheryl and a few others, Senator, politician, Senator Pauline Hanson, and would love to meet with you guys one day whenever you can make it out here. And yeah, I'll, I'd love to meet and sit down with you guys. Good.
Well, I'm sure that we're going to arrange something soon, but it just might not involve me this time. But I'm sure that we'll arrange someone who is just as passionate and loves this country and wants to see the country united as much as I do. So as long as our hearts are open, it's okay if we have different. This is the time for Australia to look after their fellow countrymen, to look after each other, and because we all belong to this land. And you've told us that at the start as the senior elder, because that is our way. And these people who are very abusive, who seem to get the mainstream media's attention, are not representing Aboriginal people and the culture well at all, because Aboriginal people believe that each individual human it should be judged as an individual.
Certainly, Josephine. Exactly.
We're taught not to be like I don't know, and like I've met a lot of elders like you in my lifetime. I've been blessed, but what I've found is consistent is like gossip and spreading yarns and is seen as a very bad thing, a very bad way of behaving. And what I get upset about is the misrepresentation by these fake Aboriginals who are very aggressive towards Australian people. That they're not representing kindness and the respect that Aboriginal elders demand that children and others behave towards other human beings. Now, I think a lot of the people who've worked in the Australian Defence Force get it because they worked in North Force, and they've mixed with a lot of, you agree with that? They've mixed with a lot of they understand, they get Aboriginal people, they are brothers and sisters together. They get the culture and probably people like the AFP because they've worked in remote, but a lot of the mainstream Australia, I don't think understands how closely bonded our groups are together.
Yeah. We're pretty close together when you just like what you said there. It's very, very important that bond is there, and that's the only way we can understand and get things done and solved that way. Work together.
And you do have a connection with the North Force, like I'm sure a lot of your family have enrolled. Is that
I used to be with 51 FNQR and worked with North Force. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So really protecting our country. Thank you for your service.
And for the service with them, I been all through the Torres Strait down to the East Coast, now the Gulf, and into the North Force area. So as well as southeast Queensland, west of here. So yeah, I was with 51 FNQR and no North Force, and I know what you're talking about there. So you're talking to ex-soldiers, reservists.
I don't know how I picked that up, but something said to me, because we've never discussed that. So when I mentioned this, you got the biggest smile. Tell me about your time with North Force and what was that sort of experience?
Well, again, with the Defence Force, and you said it just before that, you see a lot of different people. You meet a lot of different people. You see a lot of different places. You go to a lot of different places. You've been taught a lot of things. I've been taught a lot of things, and from other soldiers. Um, I and again, it's teamwork, and you work together. Um, so my experience is, many of people of different culture. I've worked with, spent time with, trained on exercise, whether it's on big exercise as well, and even soldiers that came from New Zealand, America, where Britain just came to Australia to on exercise. When I came to the exercise, and here in the Gulf, as well as down the East Coast, as well as up the Cape, up in the West, North Coast. So one of the main, thing there that is like, like I say, you meet a lot of different people, but it's teamwork. You work together, and that's the only way to get things done. Like what we're talking about.
Exactly. That is such a good point because the way that we're going to secure our country, secure our safety, secure our prosperity, combined prosperity, is for the parliament to go back to the people. The parliament is for the people. It's not for special interest groups with billions of dollars, corporations who are pushing for native title, the UN, and all these billionaires behind it all who's setting up all the media. This country is not for them. This country is not designed to reduce population. We have enough land if we weren't being sabotaged. We should be in a growth phase, massive, because we've got so much going for us. We've got so much going for us. And the people who want our minerals, this is what I think it's about. I think it's all about money and greed, are
Mm.
trying to undermine everybody and make us fight. But really, we're all interconnected and we all have a right, an equal right to this country. And that's what makes it great. And
Yeah.
how we're going to get it back is I was saying to someone today, before I rang you, I was saying in the Aboriginal community, we have the numbers. We have the numbers because these nasty fakes are so arrogant and rude to elders that people despise them.
Yeah.
We have numbers in the mainstream Australia. And part of their thing is to try to get people to feel like, oh, it's too much, so we give in. But that's not going to happen because we got people like you who don't give in because you were trained not to give in, correct?
Yeah.
In
Thank
Aboriginal
you.
way hunting, but also in the North Force, also with the ADF, you were trained with, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
these people will not back down for the safety of our country.
Yeah. Yeah. As well as the Australian Navy, up the east coast, up the Great Barrier Reef, around Shoalwater Bay and places like that. So, planning on um, Navy with the Navy out sea,
Yes.
So, you know, that's, that's really one thing that I will never forget. That's been a big part of me, But for those years there, with them, communication was good. Work together. You've been taught, but at the same time, you teach. I teach. What I've been taught. I It's all part of survival. And being a young fellow back then, for this pedal, I mean, I really loved it. If I could go back to being young again, I'd be there. But
I think it's a
yeah,
brilliant
so
for a lot of young people. I mean,
Yeah,
my
well,
going to go, but he got a sickness. He's working through it. He's almost recovered, but I think it's an excellent way of giving service and showing loyalty to the country and to get that discipline.
yeah, that's right. That's where you've been taught discipline and patience, as far as I'm concerned. But that played a big part in my life. My 11 years there. Um, yeah. So yeah, as well as being taught by my mother and father, and grandmother, and, grandfather, great grandmother, and been passed down through the generation to me, and what I've been taught by mum and dad. Um, but yeah, I really respect that when I was there, and the people that was around me who I met, who I've been really blessed to have, and I was looked upon by officers. Um, I passed the test so many times. I've been blessed there. So and they wanted me to stay, but I had an injury, and that's what caused my discharge. And, but I've been that model for the young people of my community, and a few of them got up there and joined them, but not a lot. But I did what I had to do, and took a lot to get there, but but yeah, it was good.
That's fantastic. That's something I'd like to see expanded,
Yeah,
particularly in rural and remote communities, but for all Australians, because I think
yeah,
there's a lot of, unfortunately, because the amount of a very dangerous illicit drugs that are spreading around Australia, it's very good opportunity if we could have something for younger people,
yeah,
when they're in the danger zone. I mean, I've been a
yeah,
when they're in the danger zone, they're changing into adulthood. It would be
yeah,
great if we had a cadets
yeah,
program, so that they can learn that reliance. The problem which I see in remote and rural Aboriginal communities is because of the extreme overcrowding. It's very hard for a young person to assert their independence, which is a natural progression for you to agree for a young person, especially a male. Males need to be, to learn to be self, because that's their physiological. You'd
yeah,
agree, physiological. They have leadership. That be placed in what the best position they can be. They need to
yeah,
be able to feel that they are able to look after themselves and be
that's
the and be a like a what we can't escape that. It's built in men. You agree? They need
yeah,
to be in control of their lives, but it's also good for young women to be disciplined. Don't get me wrong, but I think particularly in that age group, because of the overcrowding, it creates a very sort of not the best environment in some of these communities for young people, and that's where I think the peer group stuff, and that's why I think in the short term there are some very quick practical things, and this is what people in your community I'm sure already have the answers, but no one listens to you. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Um, like just a quick one back on
Yeah.
my days with the ADF. Um, see, I had the physical ability to be there with the ADF. Back then, I had the physical ability. I mean, what I'm saying is I was fit as fiddle, and
Yes.
my as well as my numeracy and literacy out in a big way that got me there, and being a person who being a guy that being a young fella back then who didn't drink or smoke. So physically, see, I had the ability to make it, just like that, and and that was recognized by officers, by staffs of the ADF and um, PCs, commanders, you know, starting off from a landscaper. Yeah, but yeah, it just when I got there, things just took off just like that. So yeah, I really um, am thankful that I ended up there, and well, didn't really like to leave, but I had no choice because of my injury.
Yeah, what a fantastic story. I mean, that's incredible. And it's just so fantastic. And that's what I've heard that, it's like a family. There's no black and white. It's all one, it's all Australians. Is that correct?
Exactly. Exactly.
Mateship. Our in our honor of our Anzacs and all those incredible soldiers.
Yeah. Working as a team and do it all together.
And that's the way. You're correct. You pinned it. And I really believe that it's very close.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry then. Just want to excuse. Yeah, all right then.
You might finish
Yeah,
this interview and we'll chat again soon. Thank you for your time.
yeah, all right. Josephine, it's been good
Chat again
catching
soon.
up.
So much.
Yeah, hopefully that one day you'll get up here and we can, good meeting you and
I can't
talking
wait.
to you.
I'm looking forward to seeing your land. I love it. Oh, it sounds like paradise.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.
Okay, and thank you to Josephine. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.